Good morning. I'd like to start off with a couple things that happened last week. Again, what a difference a week makes. I guess now I have my voice back and everything else, feel much better. But anyways, a couple things that did happen last week. We had a good time with a couple things. One of them was a retirement celebration for Keith Wilkins. So we very appreciate the work that Keith has done to be a part of this city and part of this organization, and he's certainly done a great job. It was nice to send him off in a way. We had a lot of county people there, a lot of city people there. Really kind of reflected where he had been in various different places. But certainly the public sector of this area is very appreciative to Keith and all the things that he's done. Legislative delegation was this past week. We certainly met with them. We pressed a few issues that we have. Most of them are non-monetary. The one thing that is more monetary is, again, where we are with the airport. We do expect to be working with DOT, and the expectations, the discussions we've had with them is they're going to put that in their budget to begin getting us off the ground and start to move forward with where we are with the airport. So we continue to work with them. We appreciate that. We appreciate the work of our delegation, and we continue to move forward in the next year's session. So all that's looking good. We were successful at winning the Civicon Government Transparency Award. I look at that as a team award. I was the one up there, but I couldn't certainly do it without Casey and Leah, and certainly all the people behind us here that are part of the team here at the City of Pensacola. Gareth, I think David, Amy were all there as a part of that. So it was nice to be recognized for the work that we've been doing. I certainly think we've put a lot of time and effort into changing the reputation of the city with regards to transparency, and certainly appreciate that. There were a couple other things that happened. Obviously, this past weekend, I thought downtown, despite the weather, looked great. I was actually eating at a restaurant on Palafox. I saw the parade come down. There were a ton of people there. I ran into Chief and Randall and had a chance to catch up with him and some of our police officers were certainly working hard. I appreciate everyone that worked. All of our crews at the city, both within Parks and Rec and Public Works, and certainly fire and police. Appreciate all those individuals who worked hard in the challenges the weather brought us, but I thought put on a great Christmas parade, and it seemed like everybody was real excited. There were a lot of people, a lot of energy downtown, so that was good to see. Unfortunately, on the way home from that event, obviously there was an individual who was not paying attention, looking at their cell phone. They ran up on the interstate. Thank goodness we had no significant damage. They hit an area where it was over the police station, so we didn't have anybody under there, but there was not really any damage to speak of. But obviously I think it showed, I think all of us, that why we've really got a plan to move people out from under the interstate. That's why the state doesn't like having people there, buildings there. They don't like having people there under it on a permanent basis. I mean, anything can happen, accidents like that. So again, we're going to be working diligently to continue to try to move that forward. But other than that, fairly good weekend. Look forward to this week. Obviously, we have a council meeting and a couple other things, so go over some of the things that are here. We've got a reminder that the Delta nonstop flight from Pensacola, New York begins this Saturday. Delta has announced it will begin daily nonstop service between Pensacola International Airport and LaGuardia Airport this Saturday, December 18th. The service is scheduled to run through May 4th of 2022. Delta's daily flight will arrive in Pensacola at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time and depart for New York at 12:30 Central Standard Time. It's just another example of we're continuing to have success at the airport and continue to add new destinations. So if you want to see more opportunities to fly and learn how to book a flight, visit flypensacola.com. East Garden District, one of the things we've certainly worked on in creating placemaking. Very excited to see what's happening there. The East Garden District project has encountered a delay that is now expected to be completed by mid-January 2022. The East Garden District Jefferson Street Revitalization Project began in April of 2021, and we're excited to see it completed soon. Obviously, whenever you're going underground, there are always things here and there that you run into, but we have a slight delay. But again, we're expecting that to be very finished up here shortly in the first quarter of 2022. The project is making a variety of improvements to Jefferson Street, including wider sidewalks with pavers, landscaping, underground power, and new utilities and drainage, road dieting, and road surfacing. So again, a number of things happening there. We hope there will be times where we've always been looking for opportunities to close down a street where it doesn't bother any of the individuals. They're sort of built for it. Those may be opportunities for us to do something for the first time north of Garden, and extend those opportunities into that area as well, that district. So we're excited to see as that project continues to come along. City Council meeting again will be this week. Today we'll have, on Monday the 13th, we'll have the council agenda review right here at 3:30 in Hagler Mason. Will be followed by the CRA meeting. And then Thursday at City Council Chambers, we will have the City Council meeting at 5:30. COVID-19, according to the Florida Department of Health, for the week of December 3rd through the 8th, our positivity rate is 4.3%. So again, we were slightly up over the previous week, but still under that 5% threshold that we were trying to keep at. So again, at this point, we are not seeing, we're remaining vigilant with Omicron, but we are not seeing any drastic changes at this particular time in our status related to COVID. So again, we're excited to have the events, like I said, downtown, the energy that's happening. Obviously with Christmas, we're excited about that. I did also want to say that I was able to attend an event for Jerry Ireland, who is retiring from Charity Chapel. Jerry does the leadership prayer breakfast, the governmental prayer breakfast. So he's done that for a long time. I was happy to be a part of that ceremony, and it's just great to see the things that he had done. We certainly will miss him in his ministry there to our city, but we certainly appreciate everything that he's done for our community in his 30 years of work here in the city of Pensacola and the Pensacola area. So those are some of the things that have happened. Certainly happy to answer any questions you might have, and again, just excited about where we are in December, that we're having a Christmas season with no COVID. Yes, John.
Mayor, Pensacola High School is your only downtown, East Hill, all the way over to the West Garden District. High schools serving the population downtown. School board members are starting to push back publicly on this whole 2200 North Palafox homeless proposal. How important is maintaining a stable enrollment and perceptions of Pensacola High School to the future of downtown Pensacola?
Pensacola High School is a place that has significant, deep, rich history in our community, and I think it has a very good future as we move forward. As I've indicated, almost all of my family members except me have graduated from PHS and gone there as near and dear to our heart. It is a great school. I don't think any of the things that are happening in the city are doing anything that are going to be detrimental to Pensacola High School. There is no doubt that whatever happens with the process that's happening, that it's going to have to conform with any rules and laws that are associated with being the distance they are to PHS. I don't see that necessarily being a problem. And again, I would say for a long time, that location was a place for indigent health care. So you had people going to that location. I'm not sure what's going on. I hope it's not just saying, we don't want poor people within 1,000 feet of PHS. That's going to be difficult to do. We certainly, that area has served a public need in assistance. It was Escambia Community Clinics for a long time. I don't see why it can't continue to provide services to our less fortunate that are experiencing poverty, at the same time comply with all the rules. It's done it before. I don't understand why it's going to have a problem again, but again, sometimes people get emotional and things. They forget about the way things have functioned for a long time. They forget about a lot of other things. They get caught up in the moment of an issue, and they don't really think about how it all works together. But there's nothing we're going to do that's going to jeopardize what PHS is and what it can be and where it continues to go. Yes.
Mayor, you mentioned the city council meeting this week, and one of the items on there is from Council President Ann Hill, who's pushing for an extension of the moratorium. What are your thoughts on that? I thought it was going to end in January, like you said last week. What are your thoughts?
Again, that's one person putting forward. I've talked with other council members. I think they're all in agreement. We need to be moving forward to get things. We got a plan. We need to be executing. We need to be moving forward with that plan. I think the neighborhood, it's a year. They're ready to move on. We've had now 3 months since we've really come out of a high impact area time of COVID. So I think they're ready for us to get people out of there. And I think, if anything, Jim, the wreck this past weekend over the overpass, I think should just all call our attention to this. This is really not a good place for us to have people long term. It's dangerous. Any number of things could happen. Obviously, if things had gone worse and that car had more momentum and that happened over where the people were, we'd have people killed right now that were sleeping under the interstate. So I think we just got to be careful with what we're doing. That's why DOT doesn't want anybody there. And I think it's time to move forward. DOT is ready for us to have people out of there. We're ready to get forward a plan, and I think now is the time to do this. So, everybody's welcome to their opinion. We'll have a discussion that will go down in the council chambers, and they'll make a decision. It's not going to change what we're doing and where we're moving forward. I don't think it's going to change what DOT's doing either. So I think this weekend was also a sobering event that has got them prepared to say, yes, you need to get her back out of there.
So, I guess, in theory, if the council did pass the resolution, do you think it has any legal authority, or do you think that it's kind of...
I don't think so. I think it gives confusion to people trying to understand what's going on. It just, again, we need to be moving in this direction. But Jim, you need to ask other council members. I don't vote. I have talked to council members who've told me that they are not. They believe where we've been doing the transition period was good, and I get lots of calls from people that live both in the east side area along the Haines Street, MLK, and Davis area, and they're ready to be relieved, and I get people in North Hill, and they're ready to be relieved as well. So, again, I'm not sure where we go. We're ready to move forward, and if we're not ready to do it now, then I don't understand what council's trying to achieve by this. But again, I don't vote. We execute and we move forward, and I think what happened this weekend should get everybody's thought process that we need to be moving forward, do something different.
And I guess. How is the city been talked with as far as the people working to transition people out from under the state? How is that going?
We've been in communication with all those groups. I see Lawrence in the back. I don't know if he wants to have anything to add. We've continued to keep working on our end with them to make sure that they can be moving. But that's kind of where we are at this point. I don't know, Lawrence, if there's anything else you wanted to add specific to the question about where we are, what's the city doing with the groups that are going to be doing some of the housing.
Yes, sir, and good morning. And specifically what the mayor is referring to, as you all know, we've been working with the Northwest Florida Task Force under the leadership of Connie Bookman and John Johnson for some months now. That group has taken to the council some recommendations for funding for so many providers to increase their bedding and to get some facilities open. That was approved 2 councilmen meetings back. So that funding is flowing in that direction for, in particular, REAP, Canopy of Hope, and Bright Bridges, which all have about a total of about 42 beds that will become available. In addition to that, also working with Salvation Army to also increase some encampment opportunities there in a safe place for some of the campers that are under the bridge. So, long story short, part of the transition is being worked by those providers, those 501c3 entities in partnership with the city. So hopefully as we transition toward the exit of individuals from under the bridge, we'll be transferring them to safe facilities with coordinated care as well.
Yeah, John?
For Mr. Powell, you mentioned an encampment with the Salvation Army. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Is that part of the task force proposals, or is this an ongoing project, and where is that?
It's an ongoing project, and it's in the vicinity of Salvation Army, on their ground. And the facility will be managed by REAP, the organization that is also trying to stand up the coordinated care facility on pallet box.
And where Salvation Army located?
Salvation Army is on, what's that, S Street, I believe it is, the official location of Salvation Army.
Do you know now if they're getting people out from under the interstate now, or is that something that's going to happen in the coming weeks?
We've been moving people for the past 6-8 months, yes. And now that these organizations are receiving some funding to increase their bedding, we see that flow of folks coming out of the bridge to increase more.
Jim, I think that's a misnomer people have. We've been moving people out all along. I think the issue is when do we stop letting people come in? And I think you'd be shocked at how fast people move out if we stop letting people move in. So I think this is really more of a just finally getting to a point where you get to say, we're not moving anybody else in, move all the other people out. We also have a number of money went for hotel rooms and a variety of other services. So I would say we can move everybody out real fast. The question is people moving back in, and I think that's where we just simply say it's not the right place. We did this for COVID. We're out of COVID, and we are now have other processes set up in another program. So again, I think that's been the part that's been I think more frustrating to some of the people who've been working on this is we've been moving people out. I mean, we move people out every day. There are more people move in a different way, and I mean, I think what we're saying is at this point is really nobody else moves in. I've got in the back Jeremy, and then
Yeah, timeline was, you have money flowing to these organizations, will these beds be online mid-January or early January or whenever you're moving people out?
we feel like everything's gonna be able to fit and make those things work, and if not, we have other means that we can work through that need extended time. We think we can make all those things work.
Are you talking hotel rooms?
Potentially that, yeah. I mean, one way or the other, we can make all that work.
I mean, do you see the hotel allocation as like an emergency measure, or do you see that as just something y'all are gonna have to do to get people out of there in January?
I see it as a point that can work to get people out of that particular point. The council is very clear. They wanted people to have shelter. They didn't want them to be outside. All those things match, Jeremy. I think, they all fit together, and they give any additional time that's needed for that time to work. So again, it accomplishes everything we need to do. The one thing we just need to do is close the area down. I mean, that's the most important part. Then we can get focused on solving other stuff. So I think that's the bigger question as we move forward.
What does that look like? Like police being there, not like physically not?
Again, Jeremy, I wish I could say it's going to be February or it's going to be March or it's going to be the midsummer, and I know exactly what the police force is doing, exactly what the firefighting force is doing. I think we will have that solved. We've been able to solve everything through this process. We've had an idea, a process that we go through. I'm extremely confident in the team, and we will have that ready to go. So I'm confident as we move into January, we'll know more. We'll have more things ready to go, and we'll be able to tell you what things are happening. But we are absolutely moving forward with the expectation that in January we will be moving people out.
My question was just going to be about how you guys are going to keep people from moving back in. So,
I mean, it's going to be fairly easy. I mean, we didn't have people down there before. It's going to be under the same situation rules. People are there. We'll remind them of what the rules are, and that they'll need to move on. They don't need to be there. I mean, the good news is DOT, I think, is going to make it pretty clear and evident what the rule is, and they're going to have signs up there and let people know. And we'll certainly remind people if we need to remind them that they need to be out of that area. That's not an area for people to stay in. Yes.
Mayor, your free city downtown parking begins, I think, on the 19th.
Yes.
For street parking. Why was the Jefferson Street garage and the other garages excluded from
You know, I don't know specifically what was going on with the garages. I do know that there are a lot of people that are workers that are dependent upon having space there. They actually pay for permits in things that are in there, and I would hate for people just to show up free and then them not have anywhere to park. And so I think that may have been the overall. Again, we do have to plan for people where they work and that they have spaces available for them to be there. We have people who have monthly parking that they buy from us. They expect to have a place to stay, whether it's at Jefferson Street or some of our other lots. And we didn't want to jeopardize that. So it had the potential. I know it made it a little bit more confusing to everyone, but we want to be very clear to people. And I appreciate the media being very, if they could be, because I know it wasn't kind of broadcasted originally that way. It's only the on-street parking that is going to be free. But again, we have a lot of people who pay us for spaces. They expect to have a space in there, and I just think that was things we had to be careful of the way we looked at it. You know, the interesting thing is I've gotten a few. I guess I had more complaints probably about a month ago of some of the things that were happening with parking, and I continue to remind people we have a ton of parking spaces that we put out here on Spring Street that are 2 blocks away from where everything is. I've never been down here at almost any event that they haven't been empty. I mean, obviously, the parade, when they're stacking the parade on Spring Street, you're not able to park there. But outside of a parade event, I've never been down here and seen Spring Street full. It's amazing to me. It's a 2-block walk. I mean, a lot of things we're trying to encourage: walkability, better health, a variety of things. Think about that. I mean, I would think you and your family might want to think about it. And it's I realize the challenge can be weather, and so I realize weather may not make that. But when it's nice, certainly the weather we had for almost 2 months, where we didn't have any rain, it was nice. I mean, it's a nice chance to walk through downtown, and the between Palafox and Spring, that 2-block walk is a very nice walk. I take it all the time. I walk if I'm trying to go somewhere, Tarragona, west of Tarragona. I try to walk. I try to walk from here. I think it's a very manageable walk, and I think it's good and healthy. And I think there are things that we're trying to encourage more people to do, is to take fewer rides, more walking, and along those lines, we're going to keep working to see how we can continue to improve pedestrian and bikeability. Thank you very much. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.